Okay.
Yeah. We are live. Let's go. We are here talking about rest. This is the Lyrical Meditation Cipher podcast day off info session. we just really feel passionate about this topic and wanted to come and just bring some love and some goodness to the people about how we can nourish ourselves in this epidemic of restlessness.
Yeah.
So here we
Yeah.
are. I find that this is a conversation I have with a lot of people lately. I was just talking to a woman the other day about how she was telling me actually how in schools they are actually taking not only taking out the extracurriculars like recess, they are actually using them sometimes as pawns or punishment. So when a kid is restless in class, they take away things like their PE or their recess, which is so counterproductive because when you take away the thing that is actually the reason, right? So the reason that they're so restless is because they're not moving enough. They're not getting
Right.
enough movement, enough free time in the world, in nature, outside, breathing fresh air, moving their bodies in all kinds of ways. Sitting in fixed positions makes us feel more tired and weary and stiff and achy. And are we not just big kids?
Right. 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 Yeah.
So I vote for us, we should do some kind of a survey and a petition maybe and get recess for adults mandatory in
Yeah.
all employment situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
necessary.
Right. Right. I think the recess is necessary. Being able to play, to catch your breath, to take a break, to turn off your work mind, to take a break from the grind, to make time
Yeah,
to cultivate rest in your life. And unfortunately, in our culture in the United States of America, God bless it, um, everybody's tired right now.
it's
Everybody's
serious.
tired.
It's
And we,
serious.
we talked about this last week when Kimberly Collins, the professor who started the project Writing for Healing, when she was on deck with us,
Mhm.
Takia and Alex and I spoke with her. And we did this beautiful writing exercise. And it got me to thinking, one, about what are the ways that I can prepare myself for rest and to have enough peace to be able to slow down. And one of the things is my creativity, you know,
Absolutely.
my
Yeah.
creativity.
And it's one of those things I think that people don't necessarily think of themselves as creative when they're not an artist,
Yeah,
but everyone's we're creating a life. So if
right.
you're not creating anything else, you're creating your life every day.
Yeah,
So finding ways that you can just express yourself in ways that you don't normally, it could be a way to
right,
look at that. Like what are
right,
some ways that I really feel and even intuitively like I want to just express myself, whether it's dancing in a
right.
different way, not structured where there's some linear, program that you're following, but rather just what if you just did an expressive dance and just let your body just move? What about that?
She said
Right?
expressive dance. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I've had trouble sleeping. On the road this time. The first stop in Philadelphia was because it was just a horrible experience in the house that we were in. And you could hear the neighbor upstairs snoring as if he were in the same apartment.
Uh-huh.
Weird, weird. And
Wow.
then Baltimore, the morning noise in that house. And then every place I went, there was a lot of light in the room. And
Mhm.
I wear an eye mask. I do
Mhm.
wear an eye mask to help me with rest. But there's that moment as soon as the light hits my eyes, like if I get up to go to the restroom or something, it's on. My body is like, oh, it's
Mhm.
on. It's a new day.
Mhm.
Even though I need a few more hours of sleep, my
Yeah.
body eyes. And so that's been something else to think about.
That's
So,
real.
mhm,
That's real because 'cause we're so designed to move with the ethereal bodies. When the sun goes down, we're meant to be in a more restful state, And
Right.
instead, we turn on fluorescents and screens, and we ride through and override our natural circadian rhythm,
Yeah.
and then wonder why we're having trouble then turning it off and going to sleep. And
Yeah.
then when the sun comes up, we're meant to rise. Our cortisol goes up, and we're meant to be awakened and have energy. Cortisol is not all bad. We just have too much of it.
Right. And it's interesting, this idea of getting enough sleep. Getting enough sleep. Everyone talks about it, but so few of us get enough sleep. And I
Mhm.
have had to consistently remind myself why sleep is important. And it's like I'm talking down a 6-year-old. But I'm talking to me. I'm talking to 6-year old Tony. And I know that when I get enough rest, I don't get sick.
Mhm.
When I get
Mhm.
enough rest, my weight normalizes. When I get
Mhm.
enough rest, my mood is different and I'm sharper and more on my toes and my skin is glowing. And you would think that would be enough to get me to
Mm.
lay down.
Mm. But at the time, something always seems more important.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so maybe that's what it comes down to is priorities and creating boundaries around our priorities that reflect our values,
right,
right? So
right.
being intentional about that. And
Yeah,
sometimes we need to have accountability. We need to have somewhere where it's not just thought about, but written down so
yeah.
that we're reminded of what we're doing and tell someone about it so that we're being held accountable to following through.
Yeah, I think there was something that you said about the value of sleep and just remembering that sleep is added value in our
Yes.
lives.
Yes.
And I hate that phrase, sleep is the cousin of death. I hate it. I hate it.
Mm, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. It's just not true. It
No.
it doesn't it doesn't encourage us to do what's natural and
Yeah,
needed to
yeah.
thrive. It's not a luxury. It's actually needed to thrive. And all those things that you were saying that you were feeling, there's science behind that.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
literally can't burn the same amount of fat. You'll burn 60% less fat for for the number of hours that you are under 8 hours. So if you're at a minimum of 6 hours of sleep, you're burning 60% less body fat the next day. And you're going to have cravings for
Yeah,
things that are not good for you.
yeah, like, I love Nas. I even love the song where he says sleep is the cousin of death, but it's not. Sleep is actually your friend.
Mhm.
Sleep is your friend, and sleep adds value to our lives and to who we become. And like with young people, with like children and teenagers, they need sleep just so they can grow.
Yes.
And without it, they can't grow. And too often, children take on the habits of their parents.
So true.
So if you don't rest, it's a chance that they're going to grow up and not rest.
They do what you do, not what you say.
They do what you do, not what you say. And I often wonder about when parents say complaints about their child because you're not in their house, and I often wonder, like, is your child overeating and eating all the snacks, or do you eat all the snacks?
Mhm. Yep. Are you aware that you're eating all the snacks and
Yeah,
that
are
they're
you?
seeing you eat all the snacks?
Okay, your child lies. How often do you lie? Is your
Right.
child watching you lie? You know,
Mhm,
child
mhm.
angry and getting in the fights. How many times do you curse people out or
Yep,
yell at people or tell people off in front of your child? Like,
so
it's
true.
real. It's real, and we can be so in denial about that. And then you know what else is real? Sleep hygiene. I was talking with my therapist this morning
Mm,
about my challenges with sleep right now, and she
mhm,
brought up the term sleep hygiene,
mm.
which I thought was very interesting. But
Yeah,
it's just about having good sleep habits. That's
mhm,
all. And it's a medical term for it. And I know that I would never take sleeping pills. Not
mm-mm.
interested. Not interested. But I am testing out a sleep lozenge that has THC in it.
Hmm.
The challenge is that I'm not one who enjoys being high because I got enough on my own naturally.
Right. Right. Right?
I got a lot, y'all. So, but having something to help me woosah
Mm.
and to stay sleep through the night. There are some nights where it's just super helpful, and I love that it's natural. The challenge with some of the gummies and things that it has sugar and food dyes, and I don't want that in my body either.
Yeah.
So I've been looking for products that are in alignment with where I am on my journey so that I can get regular sleep because I want to train my body to sleep well.
I have found over time that there are a couple of things that have helped me. Like magnesium is a winner.
Yeah.
Magnesium warmed, especially warm magnesium, is it helps assist with my sleep. But when I'm
Yeah.
really I try to identify what it is. Like, is it my brain? Is it my mind thinking too much? Or is there excess tension in my body? And it's usually one of those two things. And so my go-tos are a breathing exercise or a tense and relax exercise where I
Mm.
create massive amount of tension to override and kind of collect the tension and then let myself recognize the difference between being tense and really truly letting go.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah,
Those
that's
2
true.
work really well for me.
Yeah. Well, I've been listening to rain sounds, calm rain, because the thunderstorms kind of got me a little antsy.
Mm,
And but calm rain has been really helping me relax. And then all I discovered years ago that I cannot do lights at night. Like it has to
mm,
be low light. It can even be candlelight. It can be the what's that light? The salt lamp
mm,
turned on low, but like the
mhm,
over the head lights, ceiling lights, none of that
mm-mm.
helps me rest because I get overstimulated. And if I have on all the lights and I'm working, I don't stop.
Yeah.
I don't stop.
It's
So at a
mhm,
certain time, I turn
mhm.
down the lights. Turn down the lights. Uh,
Yes.
uh, and light a candle. Yes, I turn down the lights, baby, and that's the only way I'm not playing with the lighting. My
Mm.
late brother, used to joke, and he would come into the house when we lived together in Brooklyn, and he'd say, "Ambiance, all this damn ambiance," and so at the time I thought it was ambiance, but
Mm.
actually it was self care.
Yes.
It was just self care.
Yes. Creating a sanctuary is important to me too.
Yeah.
Everything down to what I'm listening to, what I'm smelling, 'cause smells can go straight to your bloodstream. It can be really distracting and, affecting. So if there's generally no smell, I'm a
Mhm,
kind of unscented kind of person, but
mhm.
sometimes having a faint scent of something that's calming, like geranium or
Yeah.
like, really very light can
Mhm,
assist with creating the right kind of sensations.
mhm.
I'm with you on the lights. I even have to cover up all the little, like, blue light, the little pin
Yeah, yeah,
lights
yeah,
on
yeah.
things, like, I have air
Same,
purifier, I have to cover those
same,
babies.
same. Yeah, yeah,
Dark.
yeah,
I need
yeah.
pitch black. I need to be in a forest. This is why I like the forest. There's no lights. Dark is dark.
Well, the sleep hygiene we talked about this morning, she asked me, "What do I do in bed?" And I was like,
Mm.
"What kind of question is that?" I do everything in bed. And
What
it's
be specific, right? Be specific. I
no,
wanna know.
but the thing is, like, I will watch, the shows on YouTube in bed.
Mm.
I will eat in bed. I will read in bed.
Mhm.
I work on my laptop in bed. I pay bills from my bed.
Mhm.
I write songs in my bed. Like whatever I need to do, I love my bed. My bed at home, that bed
Yes.
was an investment bed.
Yes.
And I'm getting every cent that it was expensive. I'm getting everything out of that bed. I love
Yes.
that bed. It feels so good.
Mhm.
But I'm not home. I'm not at home now, but when I get back home, I'm gonna clean off my desk so that all of the other stuff can happen at my desk.
Right.
And I'm
Yeah.
going to try to make the bed for rest. Period.
That's great. Yeah, I don't have a TV in my bedroom. I don't have any of the technology in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely agree, like, with having separate spaces for particular things is important because we remember our body remembers and kinda leans into whatever we do there most. So, I
Yeah.
can't read in my bed because 'cause I'll fall asleep.
Okay.
A
Okay.
and if I eat at the table, so I don't read at the table or I'll snack.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So I generally I will, like, watch something on, like, my, even though I have a big old TV in the living room, if I wanna continue watching something or finish watching something, I will pull up on my little, my notebook or
Yeah.
something and
Yeah.
finish it. But I make
Mhm.
sure that I turn it off at by 10, I turn
Yeah.
it off because if I don't, the residue, and it will keep me up.
It goes on,
It
right?
does, yeah. And so what I also what helps too is having a nicely made bed. It's
Yeah.
so inviting to have, like, nice sheets and not too many covers. Because when I'm too
Right.
warm, I'm irritable and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like I'm
Yes.
I don't sleep well.
Uh-huh.
But when I make the effort to make my bed really nice and comfy, it
Uh-huh.
does it does lend to better sleep for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I think I also I have a weighted blanket
Mm,
that worked off and on during the COVID shutdown. When I got it, everybody was getting weighted blankets since we were stuck in the house.
mhm,
And then recently, this year in January, I remembered that I had it and I started to use it every night. And I could feel it making a difference. And then a
mm,
friend of mine, she uses the weighted blanket when she sits on the couch to watch TV, and it helps her calm down. And
mm,
I hadn't thought about that. Not I don't watch TV and I mean much at all. I don't have a TV in my living room. But the idea of sitting there, I might watch my computer, I might watch Netflix, or I might watch YouTube,
mhm,
um, or watch videos. I watch a lot of podcasts,
mm.
but I often watch podcasts while I'm doing something. And so, is it possible for me to sit still and enjoy this podcast? To take a break? How do you feel about naps?
I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I think so I get up super early. I get up, 5 AM, and, by noon, it's an 8-hour day. So, to be able to it's like I need a little bit of a break that sometimes requires me to be horizontal. You know?
Mhm,
I need a break, a way sometimes I need to, just be super still and not be moving,
mhm,
and I do that in the middle, like, maybe, like, that 2 o'clock, 1:30ish, around
mm,
there, after especially after I finish a workout, it's nice to just let it integrate. I
mhm.
find that I digest that first part of my day if I just am still.
Right.
And a nap doesn't necessarily, for me, mean I have to go into a deep sleep. Like, the definition of nap is like kind of it's a little bit of a lighter sleep. But just lying there and being peaceful and closing my eyes and being still can make all the difference. And I feel rejuvenated after I've done that for about 15 minutes. And not sitting there thinking about what I have to do when I get up. Like, literally just allowing myself to be there and allow myself to be in the moment of appreciating the time to be doing nothing.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel you. I feel you. Well, something else. Okay, there's one more thing that I do.
Mhm.
I started religiously doing during the pandemic, though, is taking showers by candlelight.
Mm.
It's one of the ways that I romanticize my life.
Mhm.
Know that your circumstances do not prevent you from being able to romanticize your life. Like there are so many ways we can inject pleasure into our
Yes.
day to day. And that's one of the things that I do. religiously. And sometimes my bathroom gets cold in my apartment. So I have a little portable heater. I'll warm up the bathroom before I go in. I'll
Mm,
sit in the bathroom with my diffuser. And then
yes.
I have the big Bronner's lavender soap, and I'll diffuse it with some water. I've got
Yes.
my exfoliation glove, my brush, and it's a whole production.
Yes. Yes.
And then
And you
I,
deserve it.
yeah, and I deserve it. I am worthy. And they say that like bath time at night, like 1 or 2 hours before you lay down,
Yes.
warms up your body. And so as it cools down, you get sleepy.
So to bring back the magnesium, I will do Epsom salt bath.
Okay.
So I too enjoy a nice, really warm bath,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a diffuser that has lights on it, so I'll plug that in, and it diffuses, usually, like, some lavender or, um, I also have some other, like, patchouli and some
Yeah.
other, like, scents that I just really enjoy. Orange, I
Oh,
love.
yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
that's more energizing, it
Yeah.
when I'm in the bath, it doesn't do the same thing. It just makes it more enjoyable.
Okay.
So when I get out of that and I just tend to not put a lot of heavy clothes on, I like if I
Yeah.
put anything on at all, it'll be very loose fitting,
Yeah.
um, and then, um, I don't turn the lights on again. Like,
Mhm.
after I've been in that kind of really dim lit place, I just go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I don't, like, come out of the mood and then change the mood and then expect my body to be able to go back into it again.
Right. Right. Yeah, I feel you. Well, I know exercising helps me sleep better, of course. Everybody knows that, right, y'all? Move your
Yes.
body, and then it's easier to rest your body. And then eating. Like I've been visiting folks and I often see that a lot of people, grown folks, I'm often shocked, are eating late night, like even
Mhm.
11. And I know when I travel, there's some cultures where everyone eats late
Mm.
as well. And in those places, you can see reflux increasing
Yep.
because they're eating more foods from outside their country. They're
Mm.
eating more processed foods and they're eating more fast foods. And
Mm.
so when they were eating those natural foods, I guess it didn't bother. And now issues are coming up.
Right.
People are getting
That's so
issues.
true. Nutrition is so key. It really is it kind of directs your health, right? If your what
Mhm.
you eat either moves you more toward wellness or away from it. That's just facts.
Right,
And if
right.
you eat out of balance, you're gonna
Mhm.
have cravings, you're gonna have highs and lows, your blood
Yeah,
sugar can't stabilize. I mean, so
yeah,
there's just a myriad of reasons why it's important. But
yeah.
the other thing about eating really close to bedtime, besides digestion, like you mentioned, is that our growth hormone gets
Yeah.
released at about midnight. And if you're making your insulin making it a priority over your growth hormone, you won't release the growth hormone and won't get restorative sleep, which is what we're all seeking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm ready to rest. I think we need a little rest movement. Maybe we need a sleep challenge or something.
Mm,
You
that sounds interesting. I like that
know, maybe
idea.
something where we have, yeah, like a sleep challenge. I think, I love the work of Trisha Hersey is her name from the Nap
Mhm,
Ministry. And
mhm,
then there's I think Debbie Ford had the book. I don't know, was that Debbie Ford? From Hay House, who had the Art of Extreme Self-Care.
mhm,
And my friend, life coach Rachel LeBlanc, has had this whole concept of radical self care. And
mhm.
so I think that if we're thinking about it, extreme self care and self care as an art or radical self care, if we're thinking about napping as a ministry, rest as a ministry, then we have to think about structures or strategies and strategies that we can actually implement into our lives so that we're not just talking. Because I
Yeah.
think a lot of times this commitment to rest more is like dieting.
Mhm.
I'm going to lose this 15 pounds.
Right.
And then you start and
Mhm.
3 days you fizzle.
Right.
And so I think that we can keep the fire burning if we connect in community. And I don't
Mhm.
know what that looks like. Accountability, almost like a dorm mom, somebody takes on the job. Takia, are you in bed? Kimberly, are you in bed? And
Right?
everybody be in bed. So, you don't want to hear the news. That's the other thing. Don't watch the news before you sleep, y'all. Do not watch the news before you sleep. It's
Mm-mm.
disruptive to the spirit and it clogs the brain and it's stimulating, especially in bad news
Yeah.
right before you sleep.
So that leaves me I would say there's 2 other things that I would highly recommend. One is that especially if you have a lot of thoughts running through your mind, if you're trying to remember, like, your, um, work, obligations or there's information you're trying to keep track of in your mind, don't try to do it with your brain. Write it
Yeah,
down. As
yeah.
long as your brain knows where to find it, it feels more relaxed. It can let go and let you sleep. If you don't put it somewhere else besides trying to remember it, it'll keep recycling it to make sure you don't forget the thing that you feel is important. So put it somewhere, get it out of you onto a piece of paper and somewhere where you'll know where to find it the next day. And then
Yeah,
that makes sense, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
let it go so you don't have to keep track of it. And then the other thing is I feel like people are just constantly chronically dehydrated.
Yes,
So we're exhausted. One, we're not moving our bowels enough because we're
yes.
dehydrated, not even enough fiber. And if you are obstructed or constipated, it will definitely impact your serotonin production right inside of your intestines. So you'll get tired. You'll feel tired and not even know why. You'll be like, I slept well. I thought I
Hmm.
ate well. I did all these things. Check your water.
Right,
Check your water.
right. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's good. Check your water, check yourself,
Yes.
check your sleep patterns, your habits, check your diet. All of these things will be needed and we got to plug into them if we want to not be a part of the exhaustion epidemic.
Yes.
And valuing sleep means that we value ourselves enough to take good care of ourselves.
So in a world, especially in America, we're in a culture that really glorifies being busy and working and only sleeping when you're dead. We really have to be self advocates
Mm.
and decide that we're going to take charge of our well being and make a commitment to doing even just one thing that moves you toward more wellness. And that might just be all right, tonight, I'm going to shut out the lights at 10 p.m. Even if you only do one thing, it's one more thing toward wellness that moves you away from the being unwell, being sick and tired. So
Mhm.
I would say that get on your own team, become your own best friend, and remember sleep is your friend, like Tony told you earlier. And it's really the key to unlocking your true potential. Without rest and being
Yes.
restored from all the work, then we can't serve from our highest selves.
Yes, yes, yes. In the stillness of sleep, our souls find peace as
Hmm.
troubles and worries begin to cease. And it's through
Yes.
rest, y'all. It's through rest. It's through rest. Maybe we could close with a quick meditation. Sakia, I
Yes,
know you plan it, but
definitely.
okay, cool.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
So let's just feel our feet planted on the floor, and we're going to allow our eyes just become soft. We'll put our focus on our breath. Allow the back of you to become taller and the front of you just to become soft. The back of you becomes tall, the front of you becomes soft. We find balance in the body to bring balance into life. Let's take a deep breath in and let it out. Let's take a deep breath in and let it out. Let's take one more breath together and let it all out. And this peace you have here in this moment is available to you all day long. Namaste.
Amen, I mean, and Ashe. All right, y'all. Lyrical Meditation Cipher Podcast. The place where we breathe, we spit, and we vibe.
Vibe.
All right. Thank y'all for listening and for checking us out. We'll be back. You may see me, you may not. You may see one of my other co hosts and crew members. We are in a space of reformulation, configuration, building our relationship. Uh, okay, our relationship to what it is that we do. But thank you for listening. Thank you for your support and have a beautiful evening or day.
Peace and love.